All right, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we got game number 3 going to be coming at you here. Bad Monkey Gaming versus Willowkeeper, of course, for the current God of our Pro League week number 2. Best of 3. Obviously, the third and final game here. Willowkeeper taking the first game, BMG taking the second game. And here we are, once again, with our third and final. Once again, joined by Mini Maggot as a co-caster. Already well in this draft here. And again, very curious to see how it's going to turn out. And, so far, several things to talk about. You got the Flux Ophelia Puppet Master Kronos ban. So we now see the Puppet Master being banned here by BMG. And obviously, Kronos taken out by Willowkeeper here. So the first game, they actually left that unbanned. And sure enough, BMG passed it up. But probably pretty confident that wasn't going to happen again this time. So they decided to take it out here instead. And now the picks, Rhapsody, Bubbles, Magnus, Torture, Empath, and Pharaoh actually coming out from our Hellborn side to finish things off in the end. So we got our 3 heroes on either side here. What do you think so far?
One thing that's really standing out to me, actually, is Drunken wasn't picked or banned in his first sort of stages, actually, which I'm really surprised about. Like that hero, as well as Puppet Master and Kronos, I think are almost god tier in terms of the meta nowadays. So I'm surprised, particularly BMG didn't pick it up, actually, because I think it's actually a really, really strong hero. But actually, with Empath and Rhapsody being picked up from BMG, it looks like they're most likely going to have something similar in terms of game 2, like a tri-lane particularly. One thing to note, though, actually, is Empath, she isn't paired with particularly the Swiftblade, she isn't actually that strong in terms of tri-lane because she doesn't really offer much. Obviously, the wall is just there for just having the better positioning in terms of setting up for something for Swiftblade. But if he's not setting up for anyone like Swiftblade, then she's not really that strong in a tri-lane. So I think Tree could definitely, fight this tri-lane, even though they fought the tri-lane last game and beat it. But, in terms of theory, I think Tree have a better chance of taking it if they want to.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect that to go your way every single game by any means. When it would come down to possibly that matchup. But yeah, did what happened to work out last game? Obviously, the end result was still a victory for BMG when it's all said and done. But actually, BMG, they just banned out Swiftblade themselves here. So yeah, they're not too interested in even looking to do that when it's all said and done. You got Drunken Master, speaking of him, Madman, and Dr. Repulsor so far coming out here with these bans. So one more obviously on either side. And then into the next tier of picks. The big thing about last game, too, to me was Riftwalker not addressed at all, from what I recall. I don't think she ended up getting banned at all. I mean, yeah, we talked about that. And sure, as big as play as she made, I mean, I don't think she's like, oh, we need to ban her now. And BMG kind of showing that here.
It was just because BMG went the aggressive trial lane before, and obviously you can't really run the pulling strategy if the enemy's going to man up against you. So it was just they didn't need to address it, if that makes sense. Because I know Willowkeeper only really run the Riftwalker if they're going to run, the jungle Riftwalker, with the pulling strategy. So it didn't need to be addressed. In this game, it's somewhat similar. If they do run aggressive tri lane, then they don't really need to address the Riftwalker in this game either. However, I don't know. Maybe they won't run the aggressive tri lane though, because they banned up the Swiftblade and. I just don't think they will run the aggressive tri lane. They might just pick maybe a hard carry and run 2 mid and 2 bottom, and then just send a suicide, which I think it might be actually, but that's just my gut feeling telling me.
Yeah, no, I mean I think that the initial ban on the Swiftblade kind of tells that, and yeah, exactly. The Moon Queen picked up here by BMG in the end. Now aggressive tri lane Moon Queen isn't out of the question, so
it's just not as strong though.
Yeah.
And I don't think BMG would be silly enough to make a risky move. So I don't think we're gonna see an aggressive tri lane this game. However, Tree might run the aggressive tri lane, so we might see some tri lane action. But and I think that actually might be somewhat of a way to go though. I mean, yeah, Moon Queen does work in a tri lane, but that was before she was nerfed quite a bit, particularly her Q. And I don't know, I just don't think actually Moon Queen tri-lane, particularly with paired with an Empath as well, you need the extra damage, and Empath doesn't really offer anything. Obviously Swiftblade offered the damage, but you need the lockdown, and that's where Empath comes in. But the chipper coming out, that's going to be most likely a suicide chipper, which Jonas fan plays, which is so weird and so random. I don't know how it works, but BMG somehow work it in Jonas's hands.
Yeah. I mean, again, it has that impact of if you're playing against underlevel supports, especially, it can really disperse them down quickly with those rockets, and it could possibly set up that way. That's what we're getting at. And you look at what they got. The Pharaoh, the Bubble is definitely solo heroes. He said you can duel in a Pharaoh. It is kind of awkward. So that's definitely where that could prove to be a strong pickup here, to say the least. for BMG. They're going to get a lot of time to think about this last pick. 50 seconds now still remaining, so...
They need a hard carry, and if they are going to run a tri-lane, they need some kind of sort of carry hero that can run in a tri-lane. And I don't think there's that much available. Obviously, Swiftblade banned, that's the main sort of carry hero, as well as Puppet being banned.
Like a Forsaken Archer.
Yeah, that's just awkward. I don't know.
More old school, but...
That's really old school, but I just don't think the hero's like that much. Like, it almost takes like 5 to 6 items, like, almost full slotted to her to be useful. And if you're going to go that many items, then Moon Queen's going to outcarry you anyway. But Ravenor, this is the kind of pick actually that I know Willowkeeper used to play so much back in the day. It's mainly before Ravenor got those nerfs, but Willowkeeper always used to pick this hero up, particularly in tri-lane. So I'm pretty sure Willowkeeper will pick up the aggressive tri-lane here in the long lane. And Boxy looking like he's going to be playing the Ravenor. Actually, I don't know. I don't think Balthasar plays a lot of Ravenor carry, so yeah, Boxy is going to be the person to play actually.
All right, that he is. So we'll see how that works out. But again, with the way things are set up, so probably expect at least the tri lane from Willowkeeper, and then depending where they go, very likely a response tri lane coming out from Bad Monkey Gaming, maybe more the defensive from their side, as a result of what we see over here on the Hellborn side. So, but yeah, they do go the Ravener as more their, not necessarily a hard carry for late game, but it's definitely more of an early balance game.
Ravener can hard carry. Like, I was honestly the thinker or the school of thought of you that Ravener can't really hard carry, but Willowkeeper, playing against them, they actually run this Ravener kind of hard carry.
Okay.
And they less so go actually. You know, we normally see Ravener PK initiation.
Yeah.
And I don't really normally see this actually picked up. They're going to go to level 1 Congo. No.
Oh, no.
No, please, no.
They're doing it. They have a ring of Teacher Engineer. Unless Empath, I mean, Empath is not scouting it.
Oh my god,
this is going to work.
There's so much balls coming out from this team. Like, first with Boxy, but this call is insane. But I think it's a good call to make. But, like, insane.
I mean, I also like what they did with the Ward of Sight, too. So, you know, it's not, a lot of the times we see if it is exposed, like, by the time they realize that they are caught, like, they're basically at the Congo pit.
Chipper's going to come on.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No.
Oh, this is big. Okay, Ravener is low on life, so yeah, they're going to have to just say screw it. And that's what I was talking about, though. The Ward of Sight is also going to give them that information on what's going on, so...
It's not too bad, it's not too bad. Okay, they've bought some weird items, with Engineer with, like, you know, the Ring of the Teacher and Boxy not having a hatchet. But at least they didn't die. Like, that could have been a lot worse. Like, if BMG were already there, luckily it was just the Chipper.
Yeah. At least the game's not over.
Yeah, put it like that. That's probably the best thing that could have happened for almost both parties in a sense. But I think BMG are definitely in the advantage now, just because of the way the items have sort of progressed out. They almost were going all in for that Congo with Ring of the Teacher and Engineer, which is such a weird build. But I think BMG are doing the right thing though. Like I said, they don't have the strongest of tri-lanes. They're just going to try and dodge it with 2 dual lanes mid and 2 dual lanes top. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure the supports are going to rotate almost instantly because the way that the lanes are setting out, it's going to be in BMG's favour. So.
Yep, so almost, but no cigar there. So in the end, into the laning phase we go indeed. And yeah, Chipper is going to be playing a very safe short lane down here. So yeah, I mean, the Ring of the Teacher, if it was going to be a tri lane setup, but actually you could argue that's not too bad having a tri lane setup, but because they're going to have to start roaming around, yeah, probably not the most ideal item here. But again, what's done is done. Can't really change that, so... yeah, I mean, he's still going to stick around for a kill, but it does go to a point if you're Willowkeeper. You got to make a move sometime. You can't just sit here forever, obviously. Like
BMG or like especially the Jonas fan, he's not a stupid player. He knows the 2 supports are going to try and kill him. As long as he stays back, he doesn't even need to get XP. The longer he stays there, the longer the supports are going to try and maybe kill him. And that's just going to be better for his team, really, because the way the lanes are setting up, it's going to be better for BMG. But we do see the rotation coming out from Torture. But this is what I was talking about, though. In the drafting stage, like dual lane Nefera, yeah, it's okay, but compared to Magnus Rhapsody, it's going to be continually in favour of BMG here, particularly in the middle lane, and they might just leave the lanes as it is. Oh, they're going in bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, we see some good damage coming out here. Definitely the potential. Camarato attacks. Chipper has a health potion. Can he get it off in time? No, he cannot. Root of Z on the Engineer gets credit for the kill on the Ward side, obviously causing a lot of reason for that too, giving him the vision, despite him trying to juke around. So, yeah, you got to give credit to Root of Z right there on the Engineer. He landed the initial kicks down, and we've actually been seeing him playing some, not only Riftwalker earlier, but he plays Engineer very well too, from the matches we have seen. So, it's a good start for them as Torture has obviously made his way to the middle lane, but look at this hasted Rhapsody running top lane. bubbles, though. They're going to maybe look to dive. No, he knows it's up now, so he should be fine.
And, I mean, I was talking about how maybe the lanes would be okay for BMG, but that's more arguing if no kills happen, because middle lane, Rhapsody, but he's just going to come harass. Oh, they're going in, actually.
Yeah, they are. In comes the Hellfire, though. See Pharaoh doing a good presence right there of putting in the stuns into those heroes. And yeah, Rhapsody the Haster just running off at the last second, so Torture. He just managed to get the distance. Yeah,
but going back to the lane setup, though, like, although the sort of CS sort of way might be in favour of BMG, like, they've got the short lane bubbles, which you've seen, they've tried to go on him, but they can't kill him with his chipper. It's so much easier to gank because he doesn't have that, obviously, their mobility presence compared to bubbles. So as long as kills keep going in favour of Willowkeeper, they're obviously going to be ahead. It might just be that they've got to keep the lane down and try and get a few more kills on chipper, because at the moment it is working. They are ahead in terms of golden XP. They're going to actually wrapping around again. They might get him. No.
Ooh, he dodges all of the turret right through the kicks and completely misses, and this could backfire, actually, if he's not careful. Chipper, he's got those level 2 rockets. That's plenty of damage, but Engineer is going to be fine once again in the end. So that was a case of missing both, obviously. You see a rocket coming in, and he even dodges that. So
the only problem here for Willowkeeper, though, is that although, yeah, they're trying to go in for Bubbles top lane.
Yeah, chasing back to the tower, a couple auto attacks. There's he has a slick stun. Moon Queen's still going in. She doesn't have enough mana for the Moonbeam. Needs that one more auto attack, but it's not worth the dive there. And she falls back. Damn, some close calls here coming out.
Very, very close. But although middle lane actually,
it just doesn't end. We do see Pharaoh actually. Again, the Hellfire though doing enough work. The initial stunts. See Chipper even joining the party, but he could not get there in time. He's got some rockets still, but yeah, they have too much life now. So he just disbands the bottom lane.
Yeah, so going back to what I was trying to say initially though, is that although they might be getting kills on this Chipper, it's only one at the same time, but this Moon Queen is going to be a lot more big of a threat than Ravenov. I talked about how Ravenov carry can work, but in the end it's going to be Moon Queen who's going to be out carrying. But top lane, whoa!
I don't know what Bubbles is thinking there.
A massive misplay.
I think he was trying to make the yellow kill play with setting up the Shellsurf Song of the Sea, but he doesn't have songs. So what am I saying? So yeah, I don't know.
It's just a misplay.
The courier was coming out, but.
Maybe he just didn't think Moon Queen didn't have mana. I don't know. But I mean, one thing that could be is that Battle's obviously is the hard carry, and normally Willowkeeper's strategy is to, I've mentioned it in other casts, that they try and focus as much farm on him as possible, so he sort of carries them into the late game. But he's playing like a Bubbles. Like I never see Battle's play Bubbles. That's obviously normally Box's role, but Box he plays the Ravenor, and this could just come down to maybe heroes, players being on different heroes they're not really used to. Because that was definitely a misplay. I'm not going to try and give him the benefit of the doubt, but that was just bad play. Simply,
Should have done that.
Yeah, but it's not the biggest of deals. But at the same time, the more Moon Queen farms she gets, the worse it is for a Tree. The one thing that Tree do, middle lane actually.
Yeah, Magma stunts in, nothing, no follow up though. just harassing there.
Yeah, the only good thing that the Tree do have coming from is the mid game though. They've got the Ravenor carry, which is a stronger mid game. Actually, bottom lane Chipper might be in trouble perhaps.
The top lane too, also a little bit of trouble all over the place, man. Middle lane, there's a kill obviously happening, but bottom lane Chipper, he's going to be dope. He will be taken out in the end. The middle lane, they didn't end up getting Torture, but the big picture, I think Willowkeeper may be overall happier with that exchange there at the bottom lane.
This probably just goes back to Pharaoh being kind of awkward to dual lane though. He just doesn't really have anything to really save Torture. Obviously he has the Wall of Mummies, but compared to say like a Magmus or a Pelvers and sort of a set stun, he doesn't offer as much to sort of help his supporting teammate. And that's why getting the kill on Torture is so much easier. As he does Wall of Mummies here, Magmus, he might be in trouble actually. Yeah,
Magmus possibly being turned around. Pharaoh, he's not level 6 just yet. I was going to say maybe if he hits it here shortly, but he's not getting it for the time being. Magmus going back in. They really want this kill, man. Or at least just continuing to harass him, and now he's living life on the edge. He's going to go back in once again. Chain reaction's not... Oh, it already was used, actually. And Magmus, Limp just playing pretty ballsy right there. And it works out, actually. Oh, after the Pharaoh, but I don't know about this. Okay, he does have Engineer coming in for the side. Rhapsody is dropping pretty low. Magmus stuns in. Pharaoh's going to be very low. No, nice keg stun, though, at the last second. Beautiful placement.
Insane keg. Like, if he didn't hit both of them, that Pharaoh was going to die, and I don't think Rhapsody was going to fall. So that was a perfect keg. Stuns both Rhapsody and Magmus, ensuring the kill on Rhapsody, but also saving Pharaoh by hitting the Magmus with the stun there. What a play coming out from Rhapsody there.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, excellent Roman. I was almost wondering, I was like, what is Farrell thinking? But obviously that was just key communication. But yeah, he was really relying on that engineer being on the ball. But you got to do that. So you got to have trust in your teammates. And obviously that did pay off in the end. So you go back to it, though. Moon Queen is getting a good farm with it when it's all said and done. 344 gold per minute. And actually they might get another kill right here. Bubble Shell Surf, he is going to be fine. But clearly continuing to be very, very pressured again. Needs to be careful! Oh, man.
I thought that was it. I thought that was
yeah,
it.
I thought it was too.
This whole episode is so random, by the way. Just thought.
Well, the new one, yeah.
So random.
It's the.
What is it?
It's supposed to be like I think.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No. It's supposed to be like Venus, like one of the gods or something like that. One of the god theme heroes. I forget exactly what god it's supposed to be, but maybe it's not.
It looks like Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles.
We already have that in the game.
Really?
Yeah, we got the one with the red thing. It's been in forever. It's Venus de Bubbles. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of my...
Oh, yeah, Ninja Bubbles. Oh,
Ninja Bubbles, yeah, I was going to say. That's like one of the... I think that's the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, going back to Moon Queen, though. Obviously, she's going to be a more sort of heavy carry presence than Ravenor, but in the mid-game, though, I think Hellborn maybe have the slight advantage in terms of team fight. They've got Engineer, but I mean both teams have a strong team fight. I just think maybe the roam potential maybe just slightly in favour of Tree, and that's where I think the timing will come out for Tree. Because if it goes to like 40-50 minutes, although Ravenor can't carry, I think Moon Queen's clearly going to be the favourite here in terms of the team fight and the carry potential for each of these teams.
Now, Hanskin had a ward of sight behind the tower at the top lane. That actually proved to be pretty big because Torture ported in. Here comes another port, in fact. They're going to see this. They see this happening. Ravenor comes in. And so, yeah, you just look at Moon Queen and Empath. Whereas if that ward wasn't there, for all they know, they're still playing against a solo bubble. So very, very good ward coming out from Hanskin. And actually, they're going to counter ward it. So obviously that's where Willowkeeper picks up. And it's like, you guys are just playing a little too defensive. Something's up. And sure enough, they did. So this might end up being just an all-out rotation, though, yeah. Ravenor's just going to farm the top lane now.
Yeah, I think it's the rotation that almost both teams want to make. Though, obviously, we mentioned the last game where, like, if you run in the aggressive tri lane, you don't want to stay down there for too long because it's so much easier for the leading side just to rotate all your heroes down there and just set up kills because you're in the long lane, and their sort of positioning is almost a disadvantage when in the long lane. So. Yeah, rotate was good for both teams, actually.
Now, you talk about Ravenor and especially how they like to play here. Maybe not ideally the portal key. So what kind of build should we expect to see on it?
We normally see Dawn, I've seen Boxy go a few variations, but normally it's the Dawnbringer, maybe into Abyssal Skull, and actually goes Charged Hammer actually as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Assassin's Shroud into Gunjuro.
Okay.
But they don't pick up the portal key almost.
So
I've never seen.
I almost wanted to think like an Insanitarius maybe, because they do that on their Flux, but I guess it's a different player too.
Yeah, but also at the same time, like although Insanitarius is good, it's more like a mid-game sort of carry item. It's more like a team fight than a quote-unquote carry item, if that makes sense.
That's fair, yeah.
Obviously, it's a strong item, but it just doesn't offer the same characteristics.
Oh, yeah, they're going for a big kill right here. Will they be able to succeed with it? He has the Moon Finale. He uses the Moonbeam. He gets taken out. And meanwhile, Empath out to the side. He puts the wall off. The hasted Pharaoh isn't going to be able to go around that, but obviously that's the power of Pharaoh and Bubbles right there. That's what BMG had last game, and now it's working. Or at least they had Pharaoh, but the point being, it's working for Willowkeeper this time around.
Oh, bottom line.
Yeah, Baltazar, you're probably hanging around a little too long, buddy. Rocket's coming out, he uses a takeover. He tries to just do some kind of a shell surf, but yeah, that's not going to happen. So, overstaying his welcome a little bit, and at least they get the return kill.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'd like to see actually is if they put like a lane ward here, or even like a ward in the side here to the top lane actually. Oh, Magnus. I always say like Magnus jumping in, and I think there's going to be action, but there's not. Going back to what I think actually it'd be really good if Willowkeeper could put a ward here next to the bottom lane, because if there's a ward there, Bubbles is not going to die, and as Bubbles is going to be sitting bottom lane for the rest of the game almost, or the rest of the laning phase, it's just good just to protect him and save him. And there's a few wards that don't really need to be potentially placed actually, and they could alternate it actually.
Yeah, you see this one ward aside actually just despawns right there in the middle lane, and actually just plays a new one right away, given a few assists in place in it and given the vision in that middle lane. But Farrell's actually rotating into the bottom lane again, so again, they may try to make something happen. He has the Wrath of the Pharaoh ready to go. He finds Rhapsody by himself. He's going to open for the kill actually, just by himself. He has Wrath of the Pharaoh to guarantee it. Okay, yeah, he's going to use it right there, but now can he escape is the question. He's not going to TP immediately. He thinks he can get out just the normal way, but that might be risky. Empath putting in the Essence Link. He is going to be stunned. Chipper is nearby. A lot of burst damage going to be coming out. Mummy Walls are going to be used, but the Empath Wall causing issues as well. He might just be tanky enough, though. The Steam Boots are on strike. No Mystic Vestments. They're not needed, though. So, yeah, he went for the... He could have easily TP'd, probably been fine, but yeah, he is able to make it out by walking.
I think actually that was the better play though, because if he TP'd, I think Chipper could have stopped him with rockets. Actually, that was a lot better play than me calling him he should have TP'd.
That is true.
So yeah, that was well played by from Cracky. I just thought Moonqueen might have rotated, and that would have been maybe even more risky. But no, good play came out from Cracky actually. That probably would have been maybe the quick response. Oh, just TP. But he probably would have ended up dying if he didn't just run out there instead. So well played coming out from Cracky. But yeah, I think this game is the reason why it's kind of so equal or so similar. Is because the drafts are so similar. They're almost identical. They're just switching at like a more late game carry compared to a more mid game carry in terms of Ravenor. And so almost they've got the same game plan and game strategy. The one thing I think Willowkeeper might need to do a bit more than BMG though is to really focus on getting the ganks off, and that's where Pharaoh's been playing almost perfectly really, because he's been setting up the kills because they need to get this early advantage though, because they're not going to take the late game against Moonqueen. So just keep doing what they're doing. Actually, I think Willowkeeper are playing to the game strategy completely correct.
Yeah.
I just maybe like to see if BMG can maybe set up any counter ganks. We saw the Moonqueen Moonqueen gank set up by Willowkeeper, but there wasn't enough TPs coming in from BMG to sort them out.
See,
sort of counter gank.
This is where I understand, if they have history doing it and everything, and it definitely has potential to work out well, I'm sure, on the Ravenor. I'm getting at the Ravenor carry, but I almost want to say, especially with the way this game is going, what the line that you're going against a hard carry Moonqueen who's been having some decent farm to start. I want to say you probably should get the portal key on Ravenor and just look to play aggressive earlier on. That's more of an all-in strat, sure, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. I would agree with you almost 100% if they had one factor, pushing factor. Like, if they're going to pick up Portal Key, yeah, they need to finish the game earlier. And as they don't have the pushing factor, they are not going to take high ground anytime soon. So picking up the Portal Key is just saying that is not going to be the most important factor. The only way it would go well is if they picked up the Portal Key and they got almost 10 kills coming out from Ravenor, because otherwise it's not going to be the most effective pickup, in my opinion. He might pick up the Portal Key, but I think in the late game he's going to suffer because of it. And I would agree with you that Portal Key would definitely secure more kills, but in the end it's going to offer him absolutely no late game. And I'd like to see them maybe hit a timing around like 30 to 40 minutes is where they want to start maybe ending the game with like the Ravenor carry, but finishing it any before then is just not possible because they don't have that pushing factor, and so picking up the portal key is something he doesn't really need. And also they've got the initiation factor with Pharaoh and Bubbles, and so I just don't think portal key would be that needed in that sense.
All right, well, apparently one of the players needs a minute, so I'm just trying to get this moving along, but quick minute here, and then, again, resuming game number 3. What is the third and final game, of course. Again, if you happen to be just tuning in, yes, it is a 1-1 series here. Actually, Willowkeeper taking the first game over BMG, and no, it wasn't really some crazy cheese strap by any means. It was just simply some solid innovation on their part, including a Riftwalker, and definitely caught BMG off guard. And deservingly so took the first game, and even competed in the second game. BMG definitely got on the same page in the game too, and obviously took that second game, so kind of quick recaps right there if you are just tuning in. With that said, obviously this is our first series as well of today. We are going to be covering BMG, the same BMG team, versus The Last of Us, our next series. And speaking of that, The Last of Us, are they still currently playing their series? It looks like they're in game 3 actually. I was going to say Reason Gaming won the first game, but it looks like The Last of Us won game number 2 actually with their lineup. Looks like they had the Gemini carry, and that ended up working out for them in the end. So we're going to be seeing a game number 3 between Reason Gaming and The Last of Us. Or at least we're not going to see it, but it's obviously happening. And somebody might be covering that. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I think Archie Tiger might actually be covering the other series. Anyway, so you can check that out if it is and whatnot. So, but yeah, we obviously will be once again covering the next match as well, which again, BMG versus The Last of Us.
I probably won't be there, but no. Just for that next game, because I'm playing my grand finals. But,
that is understandable.
Yeah. I just think going back to the Revenant carry, I think they need to hit a timing though, because I think past 60 minutes or even past 50 minutes, that Moon Queen will start out carrying Revenant. But until then, I think Willow Keeper will have that kind of perfect timing where they might be just about stronger enough than BMG, because like we said before, their sort of team fight and their draft is almost identical. I think the only difference, or the main difference, is the two carries being maybe just a little bit different in terms of which one's harder, or which one's harder to carry.
In the end. Well, we'll obviously have to see how that progresses on here. Speaking of boxing on the Ravner and how he's DCing, so we just getting something fixed here real quickly, and then going to jump back in to this one here so we can move on. Moon Queen, she's basically got the Whispering Helm finished here, with that said. In fact, she does have enough gold for it. Just needs to pick up that Hungry Spirit, of course, to finish off the Whispering Helm. And as far as stacks go, I mean, they're currently doing a creep pull right here. Not really the... Okay, there's a stack right above that camp, though, the bottom rune area, that she'll most likely clean up sooner than later, and actually at the left camp as well. They got some good stacks going on there, too. Ancients are currently just single stack, though, with that said. But I'm sure we'll start to see that progress here.
Yeah, when Whispering Helm gets picked up on Moon Queen, she'll be able to stack it herself, really.
True.
Normally it's just the two supports that just will stack the jungle, and then the Ancients can normally be done by the carry if they have the Whispering Helm in the end. Magnus is sort of somewhat closing on his portal key, and that might be even a factor where BMG might look to do something, but at the same time they don't have to, because they've got the harder carry. So I think if there's going to be any sort of plays or any sort of something starting to happen, like a team fight or a tower push, it's most likely going to come in terms of the Willow Keeper starting it, because they obviously have got to somewhat finish the game earlier, like around 40 minutes, but it's going to be a while until some serious stuff's going to happen, because at the meantime both teams are going to be happy farming in the, like, as well as ganking with like Pharaoh and Bubbles. And in terms of team fight and 5-on-5, we won't see that until more or less later, unless TPs come in for like a both big 5-on-5 team fight.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, he started reconnecting, but he DC'd again, so hopefully nothing too serious there as far as that's concerned. So we're getting to the point, though, if it lasts a little bit longer here, we might just go on a break ourselves and then look to come back. And I'm just going to, you know what, let's just go ahead and do that just for the sake of, instead of just continuing to ramble on here. Actually, speaking of that, in the World Cup, I know we constantly talk about that every now and then, but Netherlands just beat Mexico, I saw.
You've got, who's your round against, actually?
We're against Belgium, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good game, actually. That's tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah.
That's actually on
Tuesday,
yeah.
Yes. Oh, man. I can't believe England.
Still stuck on
so
that. Yeah.
Bad, man. So bad.
Darn
Oh, man. What about Suarez? He turns into a vampire. He's like Dampier.
Apparently, yeah.
Suarez is Dampier, apparently.
I've never heard much about him before, but definitely heard plenty about him lately.
He plays in English Premier League. He's an insane striker. But, yeah,
he also bites people, so
like,
there's the downside. He kicks the ball really hard, but he bites people. So, yeah, where do you go with that? Okay. Well, yeah, let's just go ahead and take a break right here. It looks like this might be lasting, unfortunately, a little bit longer. Still trying to get that figured out with Boxy, whatever the issue may be. I'm not even too sure. So, but ladies and gentlemen, just put on some music right here. We'll take a short break here. Again, we should have game number 3 resuming, hopefully not too long here, of what is BMG versus Willow Keeper. So, stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back. Hopefully shortly. If anything, I'll give you guys an update as far as what the hell's going on. So, stay tuned and go there, guys. We'll be hopefully right back, and actually he's reconnecting right now, so let's give it 1 second here. If he actually reconnects, and obviously let's just ready when he reconnects. Okay, never mind then. Nice little outro right there, and don't even need it. So as soon as he's good to go, then we should be
broken on 35. Oh no, it's on 36.
Yeah, right.
It's just so slow.
It's like a first load again. Yeah, he must have like restarted this computer or something.
So.
Hate when that happens. Have you been playing Prophets? Yeah,
it's an insane game. I remember, I think there's actually, I didn't actually play the Warlocks back in, that's past my time or before my time.
Yeah.
Too young for
Youngin.
Warcraft 3. But I played, I don't know it seems so similar to StarCraft's Magecraft. I don't know if you ever played it. It's like exactly the same as Warlocks, pretty much, but on a StarCraft format. It's really good fun at the game, though.
Yeah.
I was wondering, is there ever going to be like a competitive profits game? I wonder, like competitive profits, like.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny to see.
Yeah, it would be kind of fun. I mean, I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if some kind of fun events are put out there. I mean, it is a free for all technically, so I guess you could kind of set it up though, like team oriented in a sense too. But
or even not that, you could do like the best profits player, like 1v1v1, like.
Or that too. Yeah. Just simply have a enter yourself and hope for the best there. That would be kind of fun. But, bottom lane as we come back in. Bubbles, he shows us at the last second, but he's in trouble. He throws it to Kelfield. This is just a very desperate getaway chance. Not going to happen. He gets down, so.
And this goes back to actually the point I talked about the ward. I said they need a ward here if Bubbles is going to stay bottom, because otherwise he's got to just stay at the tower, because any time he creeps up, he's just going to be able to get ganked or harassed down from the left side of this lane by Empath. And that Moonqueen Moonbeam is insane range as well, so even after he shell circles, he can still get caught up. He's only got red boots as well, so his movement speed is rather slow in comparison to Moonqueen's.
Yeah. Yeah, that's and again, you're just feeding. If giving Fuzi kills is not what you want to be doing right now, because that's the Moon Queen after all, and we all know what she can do. So Ravener does remain slightly ahead of her at 366 gold per minute, but overall, there's not a whole lot of farm going out this game amongst other heroes. It's just really those two are absorbing quite a bit. Now, with that said, Limp on Magnus does have 300 GPM. Is having a pretty good time in the middle lane. In fact, Portakey is going to be next in line for him. There's a life brand purchase by Ravener.
As expected.
Yeah. So could you see a Grimoire, or is it probably
no, they don't run Grimoire on Ravener. They normally run the Dawnbringer on him.
Okay.
Even though I think Grimoire could work, but it's more of like a magic presence if you obviously go Grimoire, whereas if you go Dawnbringer, it's more somewhat carry potential, if that makes sense. Yeah, I was actually really hoping he was going to get light brand though, because otherwise it would have made me look really stupid if he just
goes to PK, and then all that discussion goes down the drain now. He certainly does.
But yeah,
look at the stacks though. I mean, this is what we're talking about. The stacks happen, and Moon Queen right away goes into him. He already has another 1,000 gold saved up. He just finished the Whispering Helm. And that's what happens though. That's some good assistance right there.
Yeah, and actually, like, if it goes on for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, I could even see Willowkeeper try and contest his stacks. So we talked about how Willowkeeper have the better sort of team fight, or early team fight with the Ravenor carry instead of Moon Queen carry. And if the stacking keeps going on like this, we could even see like a 5-man rotation. Oh, top lane.
Yeah, they're going to jump on, or I say there, it's just Limp actually. He jumps on a Torture. I wouldn't wait the last second because there is actually down here, in fact, going back to it. Pharaoh in the meantime, right at the front of the last second, they get the kill. Empath, he will fall. Bubbles is here, but he's not going to win this battle against Moon Queen. Yeah, he needs to get away, which is not going to happen as Silkid actually cuts him off. So I had to do a double take. Magnus, again, channeling the eruption, picking up the kill himself. During all that time, Ravener was actually busy farming the jungle. He was very low in life, so no way he was going to get involved. And when it's all said and done, pretty big fights overall there for BMG.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, that's a little bit of the misplay coming out from Willowkeeper. I mean, they are all off the map. Like, of course they're going to be farming the jungle, and only going in there with two people is, it worked out, they got 1 kill, but they could have gone A lot worse, and B, it was still pretty bad, because they traded a support for Pharaoh and Engineering, was it, I think? Or,
yeah.
No, it was Bubbles.
Bubbles,
yeah. And, like, just saying that, if they actually thought about it before they did it, it may have been something that didn't happen, because like all 5 off the map, there's only 2 going in. They could have potentially been going in like 5v2 right there, and that would have been almost completely deaths. But not obviously the biggest of deals. Ravenon's still getting his farm on, but it's just going to be like this for a while in terms of just sort of farming. And also with them, or with BMG not being on lanes, it's hard for Pharaoh and Bubbles to start ganking, so that's probably why they started going into the jungle, but obviously risky.
I just love this coordination too, and everything is just clicking here, especially with this Moon Queen. She literally went from 1 stack jungle camp to the next stack jungle camp. By the time she was done with both of those, the Ancients were triple stacked right on cue. She actually gets a double damage rune that was bottled up by Magnus given to her, and here we go with Empath inside. He just melts the triple stack Ancient. So what was about a minute and a half, 2 minutes ago at the most, maybe a 310 GPM Moon Queen, is now 415 gold per minute all of a sudden. So, I mean, she's well on her way to, I don't know, will it be the Shrunken Head or will it just be the Firebrand at this point?
I don't think it's going to be the
Firebrand.
Shrunken Head.
Yeah.
Whenever Fuzi plays Moon Queen, I'm pretty sure he even rushes the Geomet's Bane before Shrunken Head. So I think, and it makes sense. Like this is going to be somewhat of a farming game. Obviously, both teams have a sort of similar makeup, and so I think he can afford to go even Geomet's Bane before Shrunken Head. But obviously, Shrunken Head will definitely be needed. There's so much magic damage coming out here by the Hellborn team. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll see the Geomet's Bane, or at least the Firebrand before the Shrunken, because he's just got to keep farming, and he obviously wants to sort of steroid his farm as much as possible.
I will say Ravener is doing a pretty good job here of keeping up, actually. I mean, he has 400 gold per minute himself, and obviously Lifebrand allows for that. And that with the Stormblade mixed in, I mean, he can clear up these camps pretty damn quickly. Showing that off. And actually, he buys a bolstering armband here. So is it just going to be the... So, okay, that makes sense, actually. I was almost going to say puzzle box, but no, he's going to form that into an ice brand and then eventually the frozen light here. So
yeah, it's probably going to be a frozen light, but I still think I would have actually liked to have seen the
searing light
Firebrand version. Yeah, and I think Boxy does normally go that first as well, though. So that bolstering armband has kind of actually swayed me, because normally he always goes the Firebrand after the Lightbrand. I mean, it's got to be the Ice Brand, or the Ice Brand after. Yeah. But, I don't know, I'm just getting confused just because I've seen this guy play so many times. Like, you know his build almost inside out, and this just isn't something he goes. But I mean, he could go puzzle box, but at the same time, it just doesn't make sense.
No,
so it has to be the frozen light.
I was really thrown off when I first saw it. Because you see a bolstering armor, that's usually what it maybe leads into. Ice Brand's usually not the item, but if anything, you see the Mighty Blade first. But he has that because, just get a little bit of attribute there. And we're going to be going for that. But actually, middle lane, he's going to be jump right. I don't see him getting out of this one. And Moonquin especially coming in. He gets the ball lightning off. Maybe he did get away, actually. I spoke too soon. The wall off is too late, and Ravener is going to live. When it's all said and done, background, we got Bubbles coming in with the Calfield Shell Seraph. Empath is dropping low, but now Bubbles in trouble. He has to take cover. He can't get it off in time, though. And whoever that TP was canceled. Another TP is coming in, though. With that said, it is Pharaoh. Now, Moonquin is out of mana, actually. Magnus is good to go nearby, though. They're not going to chase. Yeah, again, Baltazar, he isn't making the biggest plays right here. And unfortunately, it's ready, but here we go. The eruption to go back in. Pharaoh to get some good damage. He's going to end up dropping here most likely. But now Ravener joins the party. The ball lightning. The Magnus stun away. Beautiful play by Limp. The Lava Surge to get away and avoid the ball lightning. They get the pick and they get out.
Yeah, and this I think just goes back to Baltazar not being comfortable on this kind of role. Like we see him, like the last 2 games, he's just been getting absolute free farm and putting him on some kind of role, like suicide or pretty much suicide. It's just something that might not come naturally to him, and as a result, he's really doing not too well, to be honest. We do see the frozen light coming out from Ravenel, but the Shrunken Head actually picked up by Fuzi actually. So maybe BMG when I take the fight to Tree, maybe they're kind of scared of the Ravenel carry perhaps, or maybe they just feel that they can take the team fight regardless, even if it is maybe more risky. They can do it, and it makes sense though. I mean, like Rapsy, Magnus, they've got such a strong team fight. Like, both teams do, and I just thought maybe BMG would do something more safe, but let's be honest, it's BMG, so they don't do that.
Here we go. Chipper is going to be caught on. In the background, Magnus went in, but the Mimos go up, and Chipper does fall. He got the chainsaws off at least, so assisting with some damage right there. Engineer, he might end up falling. He threw out his energy field already. Actually, he's on Kona for only 8 more seconds. So not able to get that off in the fight. Now Bubble's going to be caught out as well. Ravener nowhere to be found. I will say that. When it seems like these fights are kind of happening, Ravener not able to just get there in time. And without him being there, I mean, you can't expect to win.
Well, they're chasing. They're still chasing this.
Yeah, they are, and that's no chance for Torture. He's definitely going to follow the volcanic touch going off right there.
This is honestly just goes back to somewhat bad team play and team coordination coming out from Willowkeeper. Like BMG are they're almost being too aggressive in some areas, and Willowkeeper should really punish this. But the TP's not coming out from the whole of the Willowkeeper. Like they set up a gank coming up from BMG on the top lane, which is good. They should set up ganks, but when the TP rotation comes in from BMG, whole of Willowkeeper need to be there to take the fight, because either you fight as 5 or you don't fight at all. And at the moment they're sort of doing a bit of both, and as a result they're really losing these engagements. As a result, BMG really far ahead in terms of golden XP, and it just honestly comes back to the TP's not being on point for Willowkeeper, and I think that team coordination is really a big factor to why Willowkeeper are slowly getting behind in this game.
Limp definitely doing a lot of work on this Magnus again. Magnus in general, a hero that really has shined on the competitive scene in this Carnage God of our Pro League especially. Both of the first cycle and now into the second cycle, and he's already got the tablet and portal key, another 1,200 gold saved up. Doing plentiful here as far as his farm goes. 1,800 more gold saved up on a Moon Queen. You have a Chipper that's, had a very slow start and he really isn't the best yet. I mean, he's 0-3-3, only 230 gold per minute. But he's going to be level 11 soon, and going to be assisting quite a bit as far as burst damage goes. And again, we got some under levels here. You look at Torturer. He only has a minor totem, and he's still level 5. So that's basically food for a hero like Chipper, an easy kill, let alone almost pretty much everyone else. So Ravener, the Dawnbringer, is coming. But again, is that really a scary item here? It's not really. It's just going to be an item that's going to help progress in the farming tool. And again, the biggest deal, though, they really need him to be there in these fights. When they do happen, it's a lot easier said than done, sure, but if he is not buying and you're committing to a fight or you get committed to, it's not going to be a good result most likely. Now, Engineer does have a portal key with that said, so Root of Z manages to find some decent farm himself and has his way to position for that energy field here against the Legion team. So that is, again, a good sign, but still BMG in a very, very good spot once again. As the lead, it's not that overwhelming, but it's a 6,000 goal lead and about a 4,000 experience lead here, as we are 23 minutes in. So not much else to say about that, though. Again, just get more farm on Ravener, and as long as BMG continues to play more passive, I mean, sure, that means Moon Queen's getting more and more farm, but it's hard for Willowkeeper to make moves themselves right now.
Yeah, and at the same time, the team fight is going to go so much more in favour now of BMG because Moon Queen's picked up a shrunken head and Ravenor doesn't have one himself. Like, there's so much magic damage and magic sort of spells coming out here from Legion and Hellborn, and whoever has the shrunken advantage, which in this case is BMG, they're going to win the team fight almost solely because of that one reason. But on top of and combined with BMG's advantage with about 6k gold and 4k experience, the team fight is most definitely in favour of BMG, and that's why they're pushing this tier 2 tower bottom. So.
Kind of doing it, you see. Now Ravener is nearby. He has a haste rune, actually. I thought he was just running so fast that's what he does, but no, he has a haste rune actually on him, so going to be pretty mobile in this fight if it does come to it. 18 seconds remaining on it. But again, they don't want to really force an initiation right here if they don't have to. Engineer, oh, Magnus out to the side. Here we go. Rush, and the energy field does go off. It will displace the supporting cast from coming in, but Moon Queen with the Moon Finale. Engineer's going to fall shortly after. Ravener locked in initially. Ravener's forced to play very defensively from the beginning. Moon Queen doesn't give two shits. He has a shrunken it up. He's putting in the auto attacks. They're going to get the kill on Pharaoh as well. He's locking down as much as he can, just disorient them a little bit, but he just eventually ends up falling. So a very scattered fight right there. Bubbles gets the kill, but now finally Ravener hits something, but he's not going to go in. I mean, it's just way too late, and yeah, he did basically nothing that fight because he really couldn't in the end.
Yeah, that team fight was so badly played from them. They were completely split, and at the same time, it's kind of hard though because Moon Queen was kind of like the middle point between Magnus and the supporting cast of BMG. And obviously, you're not going to go and not going to go on Moon Queen because she's got the stronger head, and so as a result, Willowkeeper just didn't get any of their spells off, and that team fight went so in favour of BMG. And now they're pushing into a rack. Like, this could be simply the game just because of that one team fight. That was so bad.
Oh yeah. Now, obviously even a little bit more to that too, but sure, it's BMG winning that fight right there, just easily destroying the racks, and now you have a Moon Queen that's nearly 600 gold per minute. That's what you don't want to see if you're Willowkeeper, and that's exactly what's happening though.
Yeah, I thought that the team fight was going to go really well for Willowkeeper. We saw Eruption coming out from Magnus, and it did absolutely nothing, but it didn't matter. The damage was almost already done because Ravenor and Bubbles and even like Engineer and Torch didn't really get that much off in the team fight because they were split off by so much. Rhapsody might be in trouble here, but I think they're coming in. They're going to
be supporting though. Here comes that Moon Queen. Now she is fairly low on mana, but again, she has plenty of auto attack presence. Rhapsody does fall. Magnus in the background, a big stun to kind of slow them down, but here comes the energy field. Ravener not choosing to go in though. They're just not comfortable taking a fight yet again. Engineer, I mean, they're using cooldowns here, but they're just not going in as a team. And, I mean, they will run away and survive for the most part, but I really feel like they could have tried to man up right there at least.
Yeah, I think this team coordination might just be off in Game 3. I don't know why. They might have lost morale because they lost Game 2 or something, but the team coordination is clearly off here for Willowkeeper. And that's been somewhat of a factor actually in Willowkeeper. They're obviously a strong team, but the team coordination is honestly something that really sort of lacks on them. And BMG obviously almost the complete reverse. Their team coordination and team fight and just everything. Their communication is just perfect. We talked about how Moon Queen it was almost seamless sort of farming between the stacks of the Ancients and getting the DD from Magnus, etc. And as a result, it's the team fight and the team play that's really triumphing here in Game 3.
Now, Magnus actually getting an Axe of the Malphite here. Going to be going for a Behemoth Heart, it looks like. I want to say, I think Mickey did this recently. Yeah. He actually went the Behemoth Heart earlier.
Was it Zinc versus Ogre, maybe. I don't know,
It might have been, yeah. I think it might have been.
I can't remember who they were against, but I know like it wasn't the biggest of deals, and it was one of those games that was like, oh, it didn't matter too much, and
Yeah.
it is similar to this game. I think BMG might realise that they've almost already. Mid lane, actually, maybe what's going in, but yeah, I think they pretty much know that they haven't maybe won the game, but they're so far ahead, as well as having Moon Queen on their team as well. It's kind of hard to get back or even lose this game unless some terrible misplays coming out from BMG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's kind of funny to see. But I mean, it's not one of those really trollish bad items either. I mean, getting more tankier is never really too bad of a thing, but. Yeah, it's usually not the go-to route. You know, something like a sheep stick, obviously, at this point would make a little more sense. Hell, maybe even that Soul's Pork and Demonic, considering they don't really have the best candidate for that this game. But in the end, you know, he's getting it, and yeah, they're at a comfortable spot there. Really doesn't matter a whole lot what he goes for. Still looking pretty damn good. In fact, a Glowstone on Shipper, going to be working towards the Staff of the Master. Very strong item on him. Still a little bit away, but again, now Moon Queen, she has a Snake Bracelet already purchased, so well on her way to a Wing Bow here. And they're just going to go for Kongor. So as far as vision goes, you just look at the map domination right now from BMG, especially with vision. They have it all around the Kongor pit. The Ancients, there's no chance really for Willowkeeper to sneak in here. So it's a case of, I think they know what's happening, but they're not really going to look to go for a stop. Maybe try to bait for a kill on a Rhapsody, but that's obviously quite the bait. And that would backfire. So yeah, they're just going to play very passive, just farm what they can in the end, push back the crew pivot at the bottom lane, and basically give a free token to Moon Queen. When it's all said and done, or maybe not. Limp actually finds a chance on the Bubbles right here. Bubbles just melts, especially once Chipper got there to assist with the burst damage. Not much chance for Baltazar, and he does not have a buyback. This is cutthroat time.
Obviously, really big pickup, but this sort of reminds me of the good old BMG days where they would just almost face roll anything and everyone. Like you just see like the sort of synergy between Yo and Safam and Limp there, just really on point in terms of the coordination and communication here.
Mm-hmm. And paused. Yeah, it's kind of one of those. You almost wonder if they misclicked right there.
Yeah, maybe.
As far as I can see, it goes. I mean, here we go. They got one last shot. Ravener just in the background. You look, and he's not going in. Again, I'm not going to put fault on him by any means, because it's understandable why he's just playing so passive, because obviously, especially at this point, you know, the game's pretty much over anyways, but he simply wasn't involved. I mean, you look at the damage chart, this is a hero that has a lot of damage potential, for sure. He's only 6% overall damage done, well down there on the charts. That's just not what you needed if you were going to have a chance in this game, obviously, so...
yeah,
BMG just outplaying here.
Honestly, I would like to have seen like Revenant K, like, you know, the potential is definitely there. I just think honestly it wasn't really the fault of the Revenant people, more just so the team coordination coming out from Willowkeeper just wasn't there in this game. But yeah, I think the Revenant K can work. I just think, you know, the coordination just wasn't there for Willowkeeper in Game 3, whereas BMG just showed that they're obviously still the top dogs.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, yeah, it's definitely a mix of those things. You definitely cannot overlook BMG. And again, it's like I said, they make other teams look like they're not the best. They're not really that good, when really it's just them just being so dominant at times. And he kind of felt that almost in that game number 3 might have been somewhat of a case of that. But I mean, Willowkeeper, it's just overall for they got to be somewhat happy, I would think. They did take the first game, and they show with innovation that they could even beat the best out there. Obviously, in what is Bad Monkey Gaming. But the series does go to BMG, and that ultimately is what matters, of course, in their favor. So, kind of a give and take there. But Willowkeeper, again, moving forward, I'm sure that's a little bit of a boost, at least. Knowing that you can
definitely. Definitely. Obviously, we saw them take a game off the CiC as well. And obviously, this team definitely shows that it's got like extreme potential to go far in the Pro League, actually. I just maybe would like to see maybe a bit better, you know, coordination and communication. I think that's the main thing. Like, they clearly have their individual skill. We saw in Game 1, you know, the big plays they can make.
Yeah.
It's just maybe making sure that the team is all on the same page, and that sort of cuts the difference between, you know, the top teams and you know, the great teams pretty much in HOM.
Indeed, indeed. So up to the standings right now here as well. But with that said, that is going to be it for the first series. Obviously today, BMG takes it 2-1. We will have our next series going to be coming up here. Bad Monkey Gaming versus The Last of Us, actually, once again, is the follow-up. And that should be happening here in the near future. It looks like Actually, they are still in their game number 3 here. Actually, they just got started in that game number 3, so it might be a little bit of a break right here. Again, I believe it is being casted elsewhere, though. Let me double check on that to make sure to kind of send you guys over there for now. But with that said, too, I know that you also got to be going here.
Yeah, my lobby's up, so.
Okay, so you got a grand final match to take care of. Sounds like with the amateur league, so. At least hopefully have fun with that, and best of luck, of course. Appreciate it as always. Any final thoughts here? Any shout-outs you want to make before you do leave?
Just shout out to my team, Instant Reflex. Yeah, hopefully we're somewhat be of a team that could maybe be cast in the future, but we probably suck at the moment. But
Nice.
yeah, obviously got to motivate my team, saying that we suck. No, but it's well played coming out from Willowkeeper, though. Particularly obviously his Riftwalker, man. Honestly, just well played. That's my shout out mainly. Insane plays. But obviously, thanks for having me as well. Obviously, I haven't been on the cast a few times, but other than that, it was good fun to come back. Even though I was a little bit rusty, but it was good fun though. So thanks again for having me, Breaky.
Went well. We had a 3-game series, and obviously, yeah, it was a good one in the end. So appreciate it, man. So best of luck in your match once again.
Yeah.
And thank you. So with that said, guys, again, we are going to be I'm going to be going on a short break here. If anything, I'll let you guys know what's going on. It looks like Diglett actually has a point of view stream up. So if you want to actually check out his stream, that's Diglett _, twitch.tv, of course, in front of that. And you can check out that match as well. I have to go to break here just real quickly, and we'll see what happens. I may come back and actually look to jump into that match, depending on what's going on. But if anything, we will eventually, of course, have Bad Monkey Gaming versus The Last of Us to be coming up as our follow-up match here. So with that said, break for now, ladies and gentlemen. Though, stay tuned. If anything, though, head over to twitch.tv/Diglett and get some point of view, first-person action. Might be pretty cool to check out that. So we'll see you then. So stay tuned, guys, though. We'll be back here in just a little bit.